1. Oh my.
Gathered here are the world's best fighters.
I'm a strict father. It's not.
But only water which will be. Hello community. How are you reporting Marta now? But that they are doing well. Well, I bring you the new mods that they have been waiting for so much for the game. Street Fighter Sail is an Insane engine with all the necessary features for this game. High performance fighter. What would be to dodge attacks? Evade a throw. Evade command and grab. Detect distance. Detect where the enemy is looking. Punish attack. Counteract driver attacks and get rid of an enemy with a driving pack. Reload bars with parry drivers. Dodge super art and many features. Let's start with the first feature. It should be noted that this mod, this one that I made, is in kernel mode. It is completely undetectable. Let's start with the first feature. Well, here we can see several things in the panel in SP player, which is to draw all the bones of each player. The green side will always be the player's side and the red side of the enemy's side, meaning that every angle movement that the bones have will be marked. It can be easily released in case they make a twitch or a stream. The same we have show live bars and show drive bars. This to show the lives and bars. This helps a lot for when you are in a fight to be able to see exactly quickly. And each player's information is also completely customizable. You can do it at ease, right? Good. The offset position. We can also put it under the feet. We move it. For example, down there if you want to place it, etc., etc.
Between the two.
Between the two players.
I'm going to eat.
Well, another thing we're going to look at here is the flashlight. Let's see if they're on or off. Right? We can also leave only the bars if it's more comfortable for the player. And well, or if you also want only the bars to know if the enemy has a bar or no bars. Okay? After that, one of the features here in Smarttara is to know what the green player is going to indicate in green, which is the local player, and the red with the enemy. Also a little bit of information that is important. This to see the characteristics after the defensive bot that we are going to see here. We can see the lives of each character every time it is hit. It decreases, right? And the distance here, we have the distance to character 2. So with this we can measure our distance. For example, now I'm 1 m away. Then, the defense ball can calculate how much distance we want it to react. This is very important to know the distance. For example, for characters who are closer, a distance for normal would be fine in 225. But there are characters who have very fast and long movements, like the female characters, and you will really increase the distance to 5. A 5 at least 6, because there are characters who react very quickly to the movements and the bot when it is already by this distance. It is already too late. Also for projectiles, the user has to play in online mode and see how to customize it better in their own way. Right? But anyway, the default mode is as optimized as possible. The feed is automatic. It will detect the user if he is on the left or right side. In the fighter game, we can be on the left side as soon as the battle begins, or we can be on the right side. right? This will automatically detect the user with which side to you is required here. What is said? That when a game starts before a game starts, the user must make real presses. That is, these presses before starting or also make attack movements before the round starts for the bot. It detects the user quickly if the detection fails. If we see that it does not cover us, we press F2 and we can scratch. Now I am scratching. If we do the notes, it detects perfectly. Well, fractures of the defense bot. This is the main feature of the bot. Here you can find all the features that you will find and you can customize it in your own way. I will explain each one of them so that you can understand them faster. Well, first with the F4 we activate the bot there in green. It is saying that it is activated. That is, we can activate and deactivate it directly with the F4. Okay? Here he's going to show us a little log if he's defending himself. He's not defending himself. At the moment, the opponent performs the attack well. Here we have the distance we want it to be activated. We can leave it from FAO 35 as I talked about before, that to know the distance. You see, it means that from here, I would be receiving data from the enemy, right? But if we can put it or closer, but this depends on of the character. I repeat, there are characters that require more distance because it moves very fast on the map and needs attention much faster. Here we have to detect it.
I'm going to do it.
To detect, the user will detect by input or by type. This differs from whether the user is using it. I highly recommend that you use the virtual gamepad that I am going to leave in the installation folder. The same here. To input method. Here we can change it to keyboard, or it is better to always leave it in input so that the keyboard. The virtual change to handle everything well. Since on the keyboard there are users that it is very difficult to play the fighting game with the keyboard well. Next, we have defense settings. Here we have the type of defense, which we want the user to use against the enemy. Meaning, let's say, the default will cover all the enemy's attacks. If any attack that performs on the enemy will not cover, and if not, we can change only trough or command. Here I will show you an example, and also the same as blocking high, which would have the highs or over chat. So, the jumps with kicks or the high attacks and block low. If we distill this, it won't block this. Well, we continue with the introduction. Then we have projectiles, back, forward, neutral or block. That is, if we let it go in fault, when the enemy has a projectile, our character will dodge it backwards. If we leave it forward, it's going to jump forward when it detects a projectile. If we leave it neutral, it's going to jump, and if we don't leave it in block, it's going to be separate and it's going to block it. This also depends on the character. You know that there are characters like JPOO Ryu that launch different projectiles at different speeds, and even if we jump backwards because it's slow, it's our turn. So, maybe you need it to be neutral, or maybe you need it to be a normal block. That's for the user's position, and this also has a lot to do with distance. That is, remember the distance of the projectile. There are some that go faster or slower. You will have to see if they activate it. The distance, increase it, lower it. Okay. Then we have the impact. The impact is going to work this way. The mechanics. When the enemy performs driver attacks, we're going to counteract them with a dragging pack well, and when they also get off the air and perform a special attack, we're also going to counteract with A. Now, if we score also strike in almost all attacks, that is, if the enemy performs normal attacks, the pineapple, whatever, we are going to throw A. a dragging pack to break its machio. And here we can also control the distance of the 10 is fine because it is 10M, and as it has a lot of distance it can give it good. Here we have minimum drive. That is, it is a percentage. It means that if our bars are at 33%, that is, 3 bars, it will be used if we put it less. It means that if it has, for example, a bar is also going to use it, and if it has 60, that is, 4 or 5 bars. But if, for example, we have a bar and it is put at 44, it means that it is not going to use it because it has to pass 44% to be able to use it. Okay. Only ground means that they will only use the drain when the enemy is very close to the ground. For example, if the enemy is in the air and kicking or whatever, they will not use it. And here we can humanize it so that it doesn't launch constantly. We mark it and give it a 150 probability of launching it or not launching it well. Here we have the enable driver parry recovery. That is, the drive pair recovery is this. The drive pair recovery. What it will do is that when we have 150% of our bearings will start to change the defense. Exchange between the common defense and the driver parry defense, which will not make us recover bars. That is to say, now I'm going to give an example. I'm going to use bars. I'm going to use bars and I'm going to show how we load the bar if we cover an attack. There it is. Look at my bar win. I also have to put
4.
I have to mark this. Ida good. Notice how it will load. Iva. See how loading means that it fast charges the bars. I was doing it manually, but it charges quickly. The Gower bars. Then it will exchange if we have few bars. It will exchange using the parry driver to make a parry and reload the other bars. If you see that the opponent is fitting you a lot if you see that you can't do it, the metro metric can't be fulfilled, you're going to use the normal block. Here it's also customizable. We can tell you when we want to use it. We're going to use what we use, when we have full or when we have less. That depends on the user and also the distance, and we keep the distance of when we want this to activate here. The call time means if we put it at 550, it means that it is going to stay 5 thousandths now. If we increase it to 100, it will keep the time longer. Not bad. Here we have the open counter heat. What it is going to do is, while the enemy is launching attacks, we are going to try to make a counter hit. That is, it is going to grab and make a hit in the second hit. A Tron.
I'm going to.
This is for when the enemy is attacking and he's going to try to do a drone. A punish counter. Let's say. Also the distance, and here we can humanize it in the air. When we open it, we activate it. The foul is going to jump and counter the enemy. That is, if the enemy jumps, we are going to punish them in the air quickly. I am going to make one. I am going to record how this would happen.
Not bad.
Okay. Now I'm going to show how it would punish. Let's activate it. Well, look, you see, for the enemies that are jumping, he's going to punish them quickly. Perfect. You can also calculate this at a distance if you want it in 3 metrics or more. Well, here the defense tracks. The defenses are currently when the enemy grabs you quickly. We're going to replicate the Tron and we're going to. Let's take an example. Well, that's where I got in. Supposedly. Let's see what happens. See, it's not going to be able to do the TRO. Okay, now we have other things. We can evade the TRO by jumping. If we activate it, it's going to swap, randomizing both. That is, it can make a TRO or it can skip it. Let's see what happens. There I jump. That depends on the user, and if you jump then you change this and change it to CHUN. Now it will avoid the throw. So, when you have the thrombus, you can go down with a pineapple and punish it. It is well understood. The command and grab. The command and grab that almost all users have. This is very different, like the death of Kombat, since here we are going to jump it either forward or neutral. That is, when they perform a command and grab, we are going to jump either forward or neutral. And we can also humanize it when we perform the comma grab. It's very easy for us when we see that we jump. We go down with the square and we can punish it with the normal combo, because Street Fighter is very easy to get the combo, since maintaining R2 and you make the attack button, how they are made automatically. Okay, attack override. This is very important because here is where the punish is going to be. That is, our bot is covering all the enemy's attacks. Perfect, and we want to counter that attack when we see that it is healing. Or we want to put a finger down or a kick. So the bot is going to be a window of 350 thousandths of a second that is not going to be covered. That is, it is going to let the user punish. If we see that we punish, we are going to continue. Then the bot is not going to interfere with our attacks. We can lower them or go up. Normally, in competitive mode, people, when they are covering, always start with a low attack or this attack. When they are covering, they start in this attack and then continue 100 with another attack.
1.
You can change this. You can handle it if we have more or less the window, and well, here we have the general humanizer. If we activate it, we have a 30% chance that all of them units are activated or not activated. Right? We have too many to be activated or not activated. Today we have better track. Very good. And then we have the bottom of everything, which is the input control. This is also something quite modern that I have added. This is so that we directly block the input of the hardware. That is, when the user performs any attack or movement and the bot is interfering. I mean any movement. The bot is interfering and the hardware will be blocked. The only thing that will allow pulses are attack buttons and kicks. But there are no movements, because we already know that this fighter to block is backwards. Very well. Well, I'm going to show you one of the demonstrations how the bot defends itself from everything. Well, there we see that it's covering well. It's a TRO. It's going to go back. It's covering. We can deactivate the air. Well, and now we see that it is covering. Dodging the drivers. Impact as well.
Not bad.
As you can see now, if we activate Stripe as well, it's going to be much more aggressive in sending the impact drivers, right? I just activated it there. As you can see, they are sending much more.
Well,
Do you see how the bar recovery starts to activate when you see that it's possible? Then we will always be recovering the bar.
very well.
Well, here we can increase the distance a bit. We can use the bars, among other things. He's going to start using more. Well, as you can see, he has not entered into an enemy attack. Now let's look at the issue of counter height. Let's see now how we're going to try to shoot. There we see counter height. We throw it. Well, we couldn't do it there, but he's going to try to throw it when possible, so we'll throw it back. When it's possible, he's going to try to throw it away. Let's see. There, he threw it back. Well, that's going to be the user. If you want to use it or don't want to use it, and it will have to see. But he will try to use it when he sees an attack. There is use of the driver's counter stress. Let's see if we can recharge the bars when we have a little. There we have little. That's where it started to load. You see, it's going to start now, but when we have little, it's going to start to recharge itself. There it starts to load. Baron,